Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Monday. It's the 13th day of March, 2023. I hope you're all safe and healthy today. I hope that you had a good weekend and that your family also had a good weekend and that they're safe and healthy. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field, along with the first responders, who every day are out here trying to save human lives and are saving human lives. Blessings upon those that pick up garbage for us to keep streets and highways and parks clean and disease free. Blessings upon those that make deliveries for us for our convenience of things we take for granted, like food and water, as well as mail. Blessings also upon the men and women, double blessings, that are out here trying to help rescue, deliver, and recover the teenagers and the children that are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia, the victims of pornography and child pornography, the victims of prostitution and child prostitution, the victims of human trafficking and pedophilia and sex slavery. Double curses on the perpetrators, double curses on the profiteers, and double curses on the perverts that make this industry possible. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. There are nearly 600,000 men, women, and children that are homeless in the United States, mostly children. And there's millions around the world in similar or worse conditions. Blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. There was a basketball game yesterday. Our New York Knicks defeated the Los Angeles Lakers in Los Angeles 112 to 108. And as we talked about, I felt pretty good about them winning this game. They had a rough two games to start the trip. They had lost three in a row, starting, with the Charlotte game and losing to the Kings on the road and then losing to the Clippers on the road. But one thing we know about the Knicks this year, because they are officially, in my view, a good team. They really are a good team right now. They're in every game. But slight things like the loss of a Jalen Brunson can cause upheaval, for them, or the injuries to Jalen Brunson, or frustration from Julius Randle. So yesterday, they got back on track, and I'm thinking they're going to finish this road trip, which ends tomorrow in Portland. I'm thinking they're going to finish this road trip 2-2 for the trip, which is what we really expected when they started the road trip. I thought they would be 2-2, and I still think they're going to come out of this road trip 2-2. Right now, they are 6th seed by 3/1000 of percentage points. Brooklyn is ahead of us in the 5th seed, and the Knicks are the 6th seed. We'll talk about the standings in a second. But yesterday, R.J. Barrett was stellar. Really, he did not shoot the ball from three that well. But overall, the overall game, the rebounds, the assists, the defense, 30 points. RJ was aggressive as he needed to be. We need that two of our three main guys, which is three main guys, RJ, JB, and Julius Randle. We need at least two of those guys to come through strong every game. We don't have a superstar. The Knicks do not have a superstar. I mentioned yesterday in the live cast, Julius Randle is not a superstar yet. And the reason is because he can get taken advantage of mentally and get taken out of a game. He has the potential to be a superstar because he has the ability, which few people have except superstar, to just take over a game. There's games that he could just decide, okay, I'm going to get, 15, 20 rebounds. I'm going to get 30, 40 points, and we're going to win this game. And he's going to play defense too. He does that. When he does that, it's an easy night for the Knicks. They win. And he's done that a number of times this season. But then there are other games where teams purposely do things, jab him, push him, do all kind of physicality to him, underhanded, that don't get called, and then referees add to it, and he's frustrated and he's out the game, and the Knicks are out the game. So that's what's stopping him, and the reason is because you get a guy like a Luka or like a Kawhi Leonard or like a Giannis Antetokounmpo, that never happens to them. They might get stopped, they might have a bad shooting game, but you will never get them out of their mental game, ever. They're always at you. Kawhi Leonard, you don't even know if he's winning or losing by looking at his demeanor. Yet every play on offense and defense, he's coming at you, okay? And that's a superstar, okay? And they usually win more than they lose. They usually will carry you to a chip. That's a superstar. So Julius right now, he can be taken out of the game emotionally. He can be taken out of the game brain-wise. And not only that, He just, doesn't have the highest IQ in the world. He has all the talent in the world, but his IQ or lack thereof is often on display. While at the same time, he does brilliant plays at the same time. So that's why we don't have a superstar right now. But we got three main guys in Jalen Brunson, R.J. Barrett, and Julius Randle, and we need two of them to come at a high level every night for us to win. Or you get two and then you get a quickly to come out like he did yesterday. So yesterday, Randle was 11 of 24 from the field, 3 of 12 from the three-point line. Didn't shoot well from the three-point line. 8 of 11 from the foul line, and that was all right. He was just it's one of those days where he was insistent on taking all the technical foul shots while Quickly and Grimes were on the floor, which is ridiculous, but whatever. And then he had 8 boards, 5 assists, 3 turnovers, 33 points. He was good, and the Knicks were good as well. Again, he had some bonehead plays, but you're going to live with that with Julius Randle because of what you're going to get from him. You're going to get strong rebounding. You're going to get timely scoring. You're going to get force. And when he's playing defense, you're going to get two-way player. So you'll live with some of the bonehead plays he does because of what he brings to the table in the other places. Mitchell Robinson played 24 minutes. I don't think he was hurt. He had 4 offensive rebounds, 5 boards. He only had 4 points, but he never scores a whole lot. 1 block. He was a defensive presence, but down the stretch, it was Hartenstein yesterday. And you're going to that's why you got a Hartenstein. Just in case Mitchell Rob is not performing up to his normal level, you got Hartenstein. Hartenstein came through. He played 24 minutes. He was plus 19. He didn't score, but he was very impactful defensively and on the boards. He had 11 boards, 3 on the offensive end. Very impactful. Yesterday, I wanted Tom, and I mentioned this in the live cast earlier, the subtle changes I wanted to see. I wanted McBride to get 15 minutes. He got 17 minutes. I wanted Toppin to get 15 to 20. He got 12 yesterday. I'd like to see those two guys. And the reason is because if you can get the full effect of your bench in terms of its full potential, you have a better chance of winning the basketball game. Now, we were missing Quickly from the bench, which is why Brunson becomes so important. If we get Brunson at his normal level and you add Quickly to the guys I just named, now you're going to have a tremendous bench. Now, yesterday, they ended up scoring 25 points. The bench did. The bench ended up scoring 25 points and getting 22 rebounds. 22 rebounds, 25 points. And that's what you want from your bench. Okay? They ended up getting 15 offensive rebounds. See, when you got that coming, what that means is our second unit is playing against the other team's second unit because the other teams need to rest their starters at some point. Otherwise they'll get overtired. You guys are always worried about Randall, but that happens to the other teams too. So they got to play their second unit. And if our second unit is performing at a high level, it gives us a chance to take leads or extend leads. And that's what happened yesterday. And so Hart, of course, he's really steady, Josh Hart. Great defense, 8 points yesterday, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. That's pretty typical for him. 32 minutes. Hartenstein, like I mentioned, he played 24 minutes. He didn't score, but 11 boards. Toppin played 12 minutes, scored 9 points. Very efficient yesterday. And of course, Deuce, 3 of 5 from the field, 2 of 3 from the three-point line, 2 rebounds, 3 steals, 1 assist. He was tremendous. And defensively, of course, we know he's elite. And they were saying that on the broadcast. Now everybody's recognized. As a matter of fact, Mike Bream said if he was getting starters minutes, he'd be all NBA defense. And I agree with that. That's how good he is defensively. And then, of course, Jeff Van Gundy says if he can start hitting his shot on a regular basis, he's going to be really good, which we already know. But he's just not getting the minutes to be able to do that. And I'm not complaining. Don't get me wrong. I like the way Tom Thibodeau's doing it. It just is what it is right now. So, but it's good to have that dude. If you starting quickly because Brunson is out, it's good to have him to come off your bench. And like I said, if he's going to do that, I think Tom needs to play him 15 minutes or more because your chances of winning increase because your production on your bench increases. And I think they got that yesterday, and that's why one of the reasons they won. Grimes, of course, he only took 4 shots. Defensively, it was where he was really doing his thing. He was trying to guard Kawhi Leonard, Paul George. And so yesterday he's in the Lakers, and it really is not. He's guarding Malik Beasley, he's guarding D'Angelo Russell, he's guarding Troy Brown. And I'm not saying these guys are no scrubs, but they ain't Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, right? So they're not De'Aaron Fox. So he really, I was expecting him to score a little more because I felt like his defensive assignment wasn't going to be as aggressive or as troublesome for him as the other ones I mentioned, but He still played his good defense. He still contributed 4 rebounds. He was playing defense all over the floor. I'm not worried about him shot wise. It's going to come along. Quickly was tremendous. 6 of 12 from the field, 1 of 3 from three. Controlled the game, controlled the tempo of the game. Hit that flow of the game is now, he brought it out in his rookie year. Last year we didn't see it as much. But this year we're seeing it again like we did his rookie year. The flow of the game is on another level. He's really got, he's got a game, man. Like I said, Quickly really is an NBA starter. But he's playing in the Knicks. He's playing behind Jalen Brunson, which is good for the Knicks. Okay, I mentioned R.J. Barrett. So R.J., he was bully balling everybody yesterday. Didn't shoot the ball well. But see, this is what I like. He wasn't shooting the ball well. But he was getting to the line. He was getting to the rack. Okay, he had 6 free throws yesterday. Getting to the line, getting to the rack, bully balling people, getting his game going. That's the RJ's game. RJ's strength is strength. He's a very strong boy. He's not big athletically, and that's why people keep he's not very athletic. That doesn't matter. He made it to the NBA because he's got IQ and he's a strong young man, very strong body. And he will bully ball you to death. And he has shown it from the time he was 19. He bully ball grown men, and he's still doing it. And everybody says, he needs a right hand. We'll stop him from going left, and then we'll talk about his right hand. That's what I keep telling people. Why you keep whining about his right hand when nobody's really stopping him from going to his left? Would you go to your right all the time if they let you, if you were right-handed? Of course you would. Okay? So let somebody stop him from going to his left, and then we'll see his right hand. Otherwise, just keep doing what you do, RJ. And so we're all good there. So now, let's talk about the standings. So the Knicks' next game is against Portland. Now, right now, this is the way this is looking. Now, there's only 12 games left. That's it. You're talking about 2 weeks. So the standings, the way you see it right now, very little change is going to take place. Very little, okay? So what does that mean? So right now, at the top of the East, Milwaukee, Boston, and Philly. They're going to remain at the top of the East. The only question is what the order at the top of the East is going to be. Right now, Milwaukee's at the top. Boston's a game and a half out. Philly's 3 games out. So they're going to battle. But that's the top of the East. Then you have Cleveland at 4. And they're 6.5 games from Milwaukee. And they're 3 full games ahead of the 5th seed, Brooklyn, and the Knicks. They're 3 full games. So more than likely, they're going to remain in the 4th seed. They're pretty much solidified. They're going to keep, and I'm just assuming they're all going to play the way they've been playing, same winning percentage going forward. So therefore, they're going to end up with the 4th seed. The 6th and the 5th seed is the biggest battle right now. New York and Brooklyn. New York and Brooklyn, like I said, 0.03% separate them. New York is 40-30. Brooklyn is 39-29. New York and Brooklyn play tomorrow. Brooklyn is playing against Oklahoma City at Oklahoma City. Then they go Thursday to play against the Kings. The Knicks are playing at Portland tomorrow, and then they go Saturday at 1 o'clock, a matinee game. They get all of this whole week off, and then they got to play Denver on Saturday. So they're going to need JB back. I'm hoping he comes back. I'm pretty sure he'll be back. I'm pretty sure he's going to be back. I'm pretty confident in that. He'll be back for the Saturday game against Denver. Denver is having no problems as far as injury, except Jamal Murray's he's been playing on a sore knee. Jamal Murray is a lot like a more athletic version of Jalen Brunson. Excellent footwork and a more athletic version. So he can jump. He's like 6'4", 6'5". He's bigger. Can't shoot quite as well as Brunson can, but that's going to be quite a matchup. He's a tough as nails dude. So he probably could use some time to rest his knee, but he's probably going to play. So it's going to be a battle. Joker is playing at an MVP level. Enough said. MVP level. You can expect 20 and maybe 20 every night. 30 points, 20 boards. He's coming like that. Okay, you're going to get that from him. Everybody revolves around him and Murray. It's not going to be an easy game. So that's why they're number one. And they're number one in the West by a wide margin. Like they're 5 games up on the Kings. So the West is one as far as that's concerned. Denver's going to be the number 1 seed. But in the East, Brooklyn and New York are battling for the 5th and 6th spot. Now, I still think New York will end up with the 5th seed. because they're just a better team. But Brooklyn, you got to give them credit. And this is the thing. I had mentioned a video a few weeks ago where I was talking about R.J. Barrett for either Jeremy Grant or Mikal Bridges. And I mentioned the reasons that I put that out. One of the reasons, of course, was the fit at the 3 spot, the maturity level of those other two gentlemen's games, whereas RJ is still maturing, those guys are there, okay? And they would bring the Knicks to a new level. But I also made the assumption that the Nets would sink out of the top 6 and possibly out of the play-in because of the loss of Irving and Durant. That ain't happening. They're battling every game. They just beat Denver yesterday in Denver. Okay? So they're playing ball. Mikal Bridges is the centerpiece right now. And he's playing like that. He dropped 40 a couple times already this year with Brooklyn. So, yeah, they're not going to. So, in other words, I'm saying instead of rebuilding like I thought they would do, they're going to retool. And the difference is they're going to keep Cam Johnson, who's becoming a real player, real good player, Cam Johnson, and then Mikal Bridges in his prime. And now they got a young Nick Claxton, and they got a young Cam Thomas, who's not really a great defensive player, but he's a great scorer off the bench. They're going to probably retool around these guys and continue their push forward. Jacque Vaughn's a great coach. So they got, with the guys I named, except Thomas, I'm saying with Claxton, with Bridges, with Cam Johnson, they got defense. Okay? They got defensive identity. So they're not going to be giving up Mikal Bridges. They're going to just retool around him. They're going to probably looking to add something to that. They got Seth Curry. They got Joe Harris still. But they're probably going to look to add some more point guard type depth. Somebody they can run, as their main point guard. Like Emmanuel Quickly. So anyway, that's what I'm saying. So forget Mikal Bridges. He's not going anywhere. If you're Joe Tsai, if you're Sean Marks, you're not moving him. He's under contract. He's locked in. He's got no options to get out. They're keeping him. Okay. So that's what. So Brooklyn's gonna battle with us to the end. So now, if it was today, Brooklyn will be playing a 7-game series against Cleveland. New York will be playing a 7-game series against Philly. Even if it was reversed, if New York was playing Cleveland and Brooklyn against Philly, I like New York's chances. I don't care which one of those teams we play. I like our chances either way. Okay, I was saying from the beginning of the season, the Knicks would be the 6th seed. Here we are. If they get to the 5th seed, great. It would be really good because of the storyline of them playing Cleveland, right? Where everybody wanted to trade the whole team to go get Donovan Mitchell, right? Okay, we didn't do that, but here we would be in the 5th seed anyway. So that's where it's going to end up. These two jockeying. Miami's in the 7th seed right now. The Knicks have a 3.5 game lead on Miami. For the Miami's in the 7th seed, so Miami's got a tough schedule coming up. So they're 13 games out of the first. They're, like I said, 3.5 games behind the Knicks and 3.5 games behind Brooklyn. So unless somebody goes on a really bad losing streak, in the next 12 games, I'm kind of feeling like that Miami's going to end up in the 7th seed. Atlanta, I don't know what's going to happen. Atlanta, Toronto, and Chicago are battling, and the Pacers and the Wizards are still in it also. Separating Chicago and the Pacers and the Wizards is half a game. Separating Toronto and the 9th seed from the Pacers and the Wizards is a game. Okay, anything can happen there. Okay, so I don't know how the bottom is going to end up. But I'm feeling like the first 7 slots are pretty set. Okay, just a question of the order. So I don't know if the Knicks will end up in the 5th or the 6th or the 7th. The 5th or the 6th seed. Miami will probably stay with the 7th seed. Cleveland will probably stay with the 4th. I don't know how the order is going to be at the top, but it's going to be some order of Milwaukee, Boston, and Philly. And so you're looking at pretty much right now with, just like I said, the nuance between the Knicks and Brooklyn, you're looking at the playoff structure as it stands right now. So the Knicks are playing Portland. I like them against Portland. You can't take anything for granted, obviously, but I feel like with yesterday's game, Julius is back. His mind is back. I was hoping it would happen, and it did. And so he's back in his groove as far as, mentally speaking, which is huge for us. Quickly is again comfortable in the starting spot at the point guard. Um, Tom did play Deuce 17 minutes. And I think if he can continue to do that, the Knicks are just a better team than Portland right now. Portland got Dame Dollar, who scored 70 something earlier this year. It's Dame Dollar. And then Anthony Simons is really good also himself. And of course, we know they got our boy Cam over there. So right now, Portland is in the 13th spot, and they are 2 games out of the play-in. So that's also tight. The top of the West is done. The second 2 seeds between Sacramento and Memphis, they are going to be determined, but the top 3 in the West is done. Then this battle, Phoenix is again like Cleveland. They're pretty much going to be locked into the 4th spot. The Clippers or the Warriors could take them because it's the Warriors. But then your last, from 6 all the way down to 10, only 2 games separate them. So anything could happen. So everybody's going to be vying for those last spots in the top 10, those last 4 spots, 7, 8, 9, and 10. But Portland right now is on the outside looking in. They have lost 3 straight. They lost to Celtics, they lost to Sixers, and they lost to the Pelicans. Right now, for the Knicks, Damian Lillard's day to day. Of course, Winslow is in the Anthony Davis School of Anthony Ambulance. He's always hurt. And of course, he's hurt again. So not surprised at that. Winslow's a talented player, but he's more hurt than available, which is why I would never want him on the Knicks. But other than that, it looks like Portland is pretty healthy. And so they've been starting Matisse Thybulle, Anthony Simons, Damian Lillard, Jeremy Grant, and Nurkic. They have Cam coming off the bench with Shaden Sharp and Nasir Little. Nice young team. Can't take them for granted. We'll talk more about this tomorrow. But I feel like the Knicks are in a good position to finish this road trip 2-2. And don't sleep on Oklahoma City against Brooklyn. Oklahoma City is 5-5 in their last 10, but that's deceiving. They've won 5 out of their last 6 games. Okay, and they've beaten some good teams. So I wouldn't. The last game they win, I think they beat San Antonio. But before that, they've beaten some good teams. They won 5 of their last 6. Josh Giddey, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Louis Dort, they're all playing at a high level. So they could beat Brooklyn tomorrow. Okay, they can. So we're going to see what happens. If Brooklyn loses that game and the Knicks beat Portland, the Knicks are again alone in the 5th seed. So this is going to be a jockeying that's going to continue all the way to the end of the season, which is only 12 more games. Okay, so here we are in the middle of March, and yeah, it's on. So tomorrow I'm looking for the Knicks to finish this road trip 2-2. I'm hoping Brooklyn loses to Oklahoma City, but then Brooklyn has to play against Sacramento. We have seen Sacramento live and direct. They are the real deal. So it's going to be a battle in Brooklyn on Thursday night. So it's possible Brooklyn can lose the next 2. Okay, that will give us some breathing room. But we're going to see. But then again, the Knicks got a battle because they got to play Denver on Saturday afternoon at the Garden. The Knicks are not good on Saturday matinees. And they're playing the top team in the league. So that could be tough. So I think we should win this game against Portland tomorrow. And hopefully we get a healthy Jalen Brunson back for Saturday. That way we have the full contingent of our bench plus Brunson. Then I think we can be. I mean, again, the Knicks can beat anybody in the NBA. They can. But I have to acknowledge the fact that Denver is playing at a very high level right now. And they're top of the West. They're locked up the West. They're going to be number 1 seed in the West. Okay? So this is going to be a tough game. So we'll see what happens. But right now, it's a battle between New York and Brooklyn for the 5th seed. One of them's going to be the 5th seed. One of them's going to be the 6th seed. And then one of them's going to play Philly. One of them's going to play Cleveland. And so it's going to be on. It's going to be some playoffs this year. It's going to be some playoffs because let me tell you something. If Philly loses in the first round, not the second round, but even then's a question. But if Philadelphia 76ers do not get out of the first round this year, there will be changes in Philadelphia. I'm going to tell you right now. What the changes are, I don't know, but anything is on the table. If Philly does not get out the first round this year, there's going to be changes in Philadelphia. Okay, I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't know yet how it affects the Knicks, but that's a definite going to happen. There's no doubt. Okay, same you could say with Boston. You can't say that with Milwaukee. If Milwaukee, which probably won't happen, but if they happen to lose in the first round, they're going to come back with the same team next year. And they'll be good. So, but because Milwaukee's not a drama city like some of our other cities, like New York, Boston, Philly, drama cities. But if Boston loses in the first round, there's going to be hell to pay. They're going to give them a little bit of a break because Missoula just took over for Ime Udochie or whatever his name was. But so they're going to give them a little slack. It's going to be still heat. We're going to slack. But don't let Philly lose in the first round, which is possible. Either Brooklyn or New York could beat them in the first round. If they lose in the first round, there's going to be changes in Philly. Okay? And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Joel Embiid, Doc Rivers. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. I don't know what they would do, but Philly is just like New York. They're going to be asking for people's heads. They're going to be demanding change, even if it means backwards change. So we're going to see what happens. This is going to be very interesting. Anyway, y'all enjoy your Monday. Happy Monday. Let's start this new week. Enjoy it. Tomorrow's the game. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. Shalom.